Hello everyone, I'm Corina McBride and this is my farm crop comparison. Throughout the semester we've looked at many different ways to crop and produce food alternatively. I'm going to talk about a few of those ways that we are implementing them right on UF's campus and talk about how they impact food production. So our first case study is the UF Field and Fork Teaching Farm. I worked at this farm for the entire semester, and while I was there, we made raised beds, a mandala garden, which will feature foods from different continents and regions of the world. We also set up a watering system, some form of aquaponics, and behind here, where you can't see on the other side, there are more traditional row crops, tomato variety trials, and cover cropping. So this farm was really important because it allows teachers from all over the university to come and practice and demonstrate what they're teaching to their students. So there's comparisons and trials, and students can come out and learn. And so we just set up the basics for what it's going to look like in the future. And we really wanted to play around with food production and show people that it's not always about row cropping. We may reduce yield a little bit, but honestly, it's about companion planting, succession planting, planting next to each other, and using vertical space instead of going horizontal. So over here will be a container bed garden with pots and containers to showcase different ways that you can grow food. This is unlike a conventional farm where it would be straight rows and monocrops, but we're really all about teaching the students and the teachers and just showing the public what you can do. So in this demonstration, we have raised beds, we have a mandala garden. These are going to be hoop houses right here for these rows for extending the growing season into the winter. And all of the food from this farm goes to the UF Field and Fork Pantry, which is also pretty significant because since January, both the farm and the garden combined have produced 7,000 pounds of food to feed students that are food insecure. That's really important. And we do this by using different mechanisms. So this is my first case study, the UF Field and Fork Farm, where I worked. That's me. And then I'm going to take you into our next case study. Our next case study is the UF Field and Fork Garden. This is a little bit different because it's 3 total acres. It's about 1.5 acres that's in production right now, and it's more intensely managed. So we do have row crops, but they're often companion planted. So the tomatoes are next to the pearl millet, which is a trap plant, and next to sunflowers. And so stuff is continually pulling out and being put back into the ground. So there's drip irrigation, there's no aquaponics, no hydroponics, but definitely companion planting, succession planting, mulching, straw baling, compost, and it's completely organic. So this is a little bit different because it's high intensity, less space, and you're pulling more out of it. It's also been established longer, and so their soil is a lot stronger than the farm because that was a brownfield before and it was pure sand, but the soil here is beautiful. And as you can see here, there's just rows of crops, and it's all in movement, but nothing is monoculture. Nothing is completely the same thing all across, which is great because it shows the diversity and it reduces pest problems and other issues that you may see in a commercial setting with one crop completely everywhere. Our third case study is Colacello Garden in Harrisburg, Virginia. And I chose these people because I was really interested in what they were doing. So they had a regular backyard suburban house. This is their house right here. And all of this This is their house right here, and all of this land went into production to produce food for their CSA. At one point, they had 30 community-supported agriculture members, and it went down to about 11 committed people. But they did this all in basically their backyard and a little bit of front and side yard. And it looks like this. Very high intense. They did aquaponics, hydroponics, biochar, vermicompost, compost tea, all organic, and it was just really constant care. And so this just goes to show that even though you're in a small space, you can still produce quite a large amount of food. And what happened to these guys is that they eventually went broke because they just didn't understand how to budget and how to work with money. But all of their science was there, all of their techniques were there. They basically did everything that we've talked about. They started seeds in a greenhouse, they grew stuff inside, they went up, went vertical, and so it just goes to show that there's many different ways that you can produce food, and that they're as diverse as there are people or food to be eaten. And that's what this course has really taught me, is that if you can think about making food a certain way, you probably can do it. It's just figuring out the right formula to make it worthwhile. So thank you very much, and this is my alternative cropping comparison.